such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This. I am your host, Pastor James Pittman, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. All right. We got to stay on this coronavirus thing. I've said since the beginning, and here is the position of as for such a time as this. The debate is not whether or not the coronavirus is real. It's real. The debate is not whether or not the coronavirus kills. It kills. The debate is it as bad as they say it is? Is it warranted, the shutdown that the government has done? And so the federal government, i.e. President Trump, is finally coming around to the reality that the numbers aren't adding up and it is not as deadly as they said it was.
We're going to help other countries. We're going to help states if they need it. We may help some states stockpile. You know, they're supposed to buy their own stockpile. They have state stockpiles. They're supposed to be using that. And unfortunately, most of the states weren't there. And a lot of people didn't want to talk about it, but they weren't there. We will talk about it at the right time if you want to. I at this point, I'm more focused on getting past this nightmare of an epidemic or a pandemic, anything you want to call it. We got to get past it. No one who has needed a ventilator has not gotten a ventilator. Think of that. You know, you heard all about ventilators. We need ventilators because they didn't have them, because the state should have had them. No one who has needed a ventilator has not gotten a ventilator. No one who has needed a hospital bed has been denied a hospital bed. That's not even really our responsibility. Now, if we can help, we're going to do it. But that's where the Army Corps of Engineers did such a great job. We built over 20,000 beds. In fact, we built thousands more than we've actually needed to be safe. We wanted to be safe, and they rose to this incredible occasion. I mean, we built more beds than we thought. We thought in Louisiana we were going heavy. And again, when I called the governor, I said, maybe we shouldn't build that second hospital because we don't want to build it if you don't need it. He called back. He said, I don't think we're going to need it. They had 1,000 rooms, 1,000 beds, and they used a lot of them, but they didn't need the other one, so we stopped it because we don't want to waste. But we're prepared to build thousands more should we need it. I don't think we're going to need it because it looks like we're plateauing and maybe even in many cases coming down.
All that to say, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. So, and again, I've said this before, it needs bearing stated again. You know what kills more than viruses, all the viruses put together in all of human history? Hunger and poverty. And that is where we are headed as a country if we don't open up. So, it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. No one who has needed a ventilator didn't get a ventilator. That means everyone who needed a ventilator got a ventilator. Everyone who needed a hospital bed got a hospital bed. So it did not overwhelm our healthcare system. It did not overwhelm our hospitals as it was predicted. It didn't happen. So we should get back to work so that hunger and poverty doesn't take over, right? We should get back to work, open up the states, right? Give the power back to the people, give the power that the states took from the people, right? We should open up the states and the federal government, and the states are so happy it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. So we should give back the power, right? Right? Give back the power to the people, right?
What you're trying
No,
to
not at all. Let me just tell you, very simple. I'm going to put it very simply. The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful. The President of the United States calls the shots. If we weren't here for the states, you would have had a problem in this country like you've never seen before. We were here to back them up, and we've more than backed them up. We did a job that nobody ever thought was possible. It's a decision for the President of the United States. Now, with that being said, we're going to work with the states because it's very important. You have local governments. They're pinpointed. It's really, you talk about, like a microchip. They're pinpointed. We have local government that hopefully will do a good job. And if they don't do a good job, I'd step in so fast. But no, they can't do anything without the approval of the President of the United States. Go ahead, please.
So if some states refuse to reopen and you order them to, the 10th Amendment to the Constitution says all powers that don't reside in the President or the Congress reside in the states. How do you overcome that?
Well, if some states refuse to open, I would like to see that person run for election. They're going to open. They're going to all open.
The ballot box.
I think that's something that's not going to happen. They want to open. They have to open. They have to get open. Every one of those states, the people want to go and they want to. Now, some.
Whenever the press starts quoting the Constitution of the United States of America, you know something's afoot. You know something's wrong whenever the liberal media starts quoting the Constitution as though they love the Constitution, as though they respect the Constitution, as though they want to abide by the Constitution. No, they don't. So here's the thing, and let's just be clear. President Trump is not a king. He's not a dictator. He cannot override the orders of the individual governors of the state. But here's what he can do, like he said. He can say the federal guidelines or that is not as bad as we thought it was going to be. The flu has killed 6 times more than the coronavirus has. Open it up. Open your states up. Get people back to work. Get people back to making money so poverty and hunger doesn't set in. He can do that. And if he uses that bully pulpit, who would defy him? But this is the battle, because you want to know why? Because it was never, in my opinion, now again, I will go where the facts lead me, but in my opinion, it was never about the coronavirus in the first place. It was about the government exerting its power on the populace. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But here's the slant on the Christians. Here's the way Christians should look at it. Look, there are dark days ahead. Be not confused about that. As Christians, let me give you something to use. You can steal it, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, 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 I'll give it to you. We already have a vaccine for the coronavirus. It's called the cross of Jesus Christ. You see, those washed in the blood of Christ will never die. Corona won't kill us, and no other disease. And while people are running around being terrified of death, we Christian have the answer. We have the vaccine to the coronavirus. We have the vaccine to death. We have it. And his name is Jesus.
For such a time as this,